Well, this release came unexpected. Here we are with Assetto Corsa Rally. After a bunch of issues, I finally managed to record some stage and give you some first impressions now. This is an unscripted video. I have a few bullet points to get across, but yeah, I'm filling it in on the fly. I have driven basically all the stages in the game and most of the cars in different conditions, so with dry and wet weather, with dirty and clean track, and dark at night and everything. Yeah. Preview is promising, but not mind-blowing. Let's say it like that. Let's go through some ugly things first. I have a Logitech G Pro Direct Drive wheel, which is a model that has been out for several years and is known among the sim racing community. Still, the game has no clue this exists and has no predefined setup for it. So you have to set up everything yourself. Second thing, which prevented me to put out this video yesterday already, is that there are issues with if you have an AMD GPU and use Radeon Relive for recording on the GPU level. It took a lot of fiddling around why Relive did not want to record the game at all. Every time I used the shortcuts, tried different settings, and I don't know what the cause of it is, but it seems to only catch the game with sound and visuals when you record in a region and specifically select Assetto Corsa Rally and not use any of the shortcuts. So yeah, I've driven much more than what you see here, but this is the visual that I managed to record, finally. Another ugly thing is there are missing button configs. Some of the buttons that the game, or some of the controls that the game has, I cannot map to my wheel for some reason. The D-pad on my wheel gets recognized as axes, which prevents me from putting up, down, left and right, and basically prevents me from controlling the menu with the wheel in a comfortable way. And there are some buttons that I feel like should be there and are not there at all, like windscreen wiper control. You can, for example, configure indicator left and right for some reason, but not your windscreen, despite dynamic rain being a thing. So yeah, that's a bit strange. Also, the FFB force feedback config options are very limited. You can basically set up a major gain, and you have to set up the rotation of your wheel. So so the wheel, the game actually figures out correctly that the rotation of the wheel matches the wheel rotation in game. And that's about it. You can't fiddle around with any more settings of the force feedback, which feels kind of... I don't feel it's quite there yet, and I would like there to be more options to play around with. Another strange thing are the cockpit sounds. Like there is... whenever you use a cockpit view, the sound of your car and the environment changes noticeably. I think that is a design choice to like simulate what you would hear underneath a helmet with a voice system to your co-pilot and very numbed sounds of everything else. But this being a simulation, I feel like this takes away a bit of the immersion or the spectacle if the sound is so numbed down. So I get the reason if it is a design choice, but I would have liked to see an option, a toggle to make it helmet sound and non-helmet sound maybe. Also strange, I find that there are no shakedowns at all. If you drive a rally, the first time you drive is the first stage. You have no shakedown to fiddle around with your setup, nothing. Yeah. Let's get into the bad things first. The major bad thing, the worst thing of it all is the content. It's just not a lot. Like, it has like 30 kilometers of roads in total across 2 different locations. The cars are iconic but very limited. You basically have only one car for each class. There is not the possibility to drive 2 cars against each other that are remotely on a similar level. Yeah, and I feel like I've already seen all of the roads and start to learn some corner combinations, and have driven like 2 or 3 hours at most. That's not the core of rally, in my opinion. And I feel like with this, it will get into hot lapping territory very quickly. Yeah, so the content is a major problem point, and really underscores that this is early access, and it is absolutely not a complete product. And absolutely, yeah, if you expect a complete rally sim game, like with some kind of career or something, no, that's not here. Brings me to another point. I'm actually glad that this is not Kunos as the developer. They are just the publisher, it seems, because otherwise I wouldn't have gotten it at all after what I see with AC Evo. I feel like early access is done by many studios to a very bad degree, and not with a plan in mind, or a release schedule and a vision what they want to do, and that leads to a lot of fumbled early access programs. So I kind of only got it because it is a blank slate, and this Supernova, is it called that? I think, is a blank slate with the benefit of the doubt. I hope they have a plan. I hope they have an internal schedule. I kind of remember Dirt Rally 1, which was quite nice. I think it was every month or every 2 months there was a content update, which is, I think, way too short to actually develop the content, so they must have planned that before, and I hope that Supernova did that too, and we will see a quick increase in content here. Also for the existing rallies, not just new rallies. I feel like 15 or 20 kilometer of stage for a whole rally is way too small. So there is Wales and there is France currently, and they need also more road to feel like a proper rally, I feel like. Next bad thing, crashes and accidents. I feel like there's a shift in the physics when you crash, and it suddenly starts to feel less weighty and more flimsy, bouncy, and it is also way too forgiving. Like some of the crashes I had, I feel like should be rally ending with the ripped out wheels and completely totaled car, and I could still go around. So yeah, the crashes and the accidents, whenever you do something wrong, do not feel connected to the physics in the same way as the driving does, and they have way too little consequence. Next bad thing are the loading times and some glitches I saw. There are more loading screens than I would like, and there are some glitches. For example, once I set up a car and went back to the screen before clicking on starting the rally, suddenly the car was on its roof in the service park, and that damage from being in the menu on the roof was transferred to the start of the stage. So that is the physical car in the menu that you see there, and if it gets damaged in that scene, you have to live with that damage, which also makes me ask, like, why would you even simulate the damage in that scene? It's a menu. Yeah, another strange thing, maybe. Another bad thing, next one, is the physics when sliding. Like when you are in a drift and you're losing the rear end. it doesn't feel like the tires have enough bite, I feel like. Especially if I imagine driving an all-wheel drive rally car with proper off-road tires on a dry gravel surface, and the car having less grip and less bite than like my daily driver driving on street tires in the snow. I have more grip there. So yeah, it feels strange, and it makes it very, very hard to catch a slide. Much harder than I would like, for example, in all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive cars. Maybe they have modeled, it feels a bit like they have modeled the tires after old tires, like really classic tires, and just applied that to all of the cars, which makes the modern cars, like Group A onwards, feel not like I would imagine they should feel, especially compared to real life experience. It's basically the reverse of EAWRC, where all the cars feel like they have the most modern tires from the Rally 1 class. Here it feels like all the cars have tires from basically 1960s Mini, if that is really the issue. But yeah, it feels quite good until you lose your rear end, and then it becomes very, very hard to catch. Contributing to that might be also the force feedback speed. Like, usually catching a drift is quite helped by the fact that your tires on the front want to turn into the direction of movement of the car. And they do that here too, but it takes sometimes quite long for your wheel to turn, even in cars with not that much rotation. So that makes it hard to just let go of the wheel and catch it in the moment where the tires point in the right direction, because they turn too slow, and at that point you're already spun much quicker and basically turn in the wrong direction. That feels, yeah, I'm not warmed up to that. Another thing is ghosting from Unreal Engine. You see that mostly, thankfully, in the replays and not in the driving. Except for at night. At night you also see it a bit in the driving, I feel. So you get glimpses that this is Unreal Engine, and I don't like it. Also, next one, road flatness. The road feels great in driving. You feel the road surface through your wheel, but it doesn't look great. It looks very flat for an off-road environment, and I would like there to be more visual undulation. They claim to have laser scanned the stages, but I'm not sure at which resolution, because also sometimes the roadside feels very, let's say, triangular, and I imagine the real world doesn't look that triangular in some of the banks and roadsides. So maybe turn up the laser scan resolution a bit and make the road with more fidelity. That is what I would be missing. And the last bad thing on my list is Unreal Engine again, because of VR. There is no VR support right now, but there will or shall be in the future. I'm in the lucky position to not be driving on VR, but I know a lot of people do, and I also want to return to VR once the technology just is a tiny smidge better. And with this week's announcement of the Steam frame, maybe early next year the technology will be ready to return. But that needs a simulation that hooks me, that has good VR support, and I have not seen that from any Unreal Engine implementation, so I have very low hopes that this can do good VR, maybe. But let's get into the good points now. Continue with Unreal Engine, actually. I feel this team has a much better control of Unreal Engine than EA Sports or Codemasters had. The performance is great, the visuals are mostly great, and the bad things of Unreal Engine seem to be very limited. So, compared to other Unreal Engine products, they seem to have a good handle of what they're doing with the engine. Another good thing is the physics everywhere else except for the bad parts that I mentioned. Like, it really feels good. It really feels high fidelity. Of course, on the tarmac it feels like Assetto Corsa. I expected that. It is a rally sim with good tarmac physics. I feel bad that that needs to be highlighted at all, but it is. And the gravel feels also good, quite good and intuitive, as long as you don't drive over the limit. When you start sliding and losing parts of the grip on the rear axle, I mentioned that before, then it becomes wonky. But up to that point, it feels really intuitive to drive. When you pick it up with some driving experience and you feel that you are doing the mistakes, you never have really the feeling that, oh damn, this was the game, the stupid physics made me crash now. No, I misjudged the turn. I braked too late, so I crashed into a tree. It was my fault, and that is a good thing for the physics engine to feel like that. Where was I? Yeah, next point, fidelity of mechanical damage and setups. You can properly, for just one example, you can cross mount tires. You can select every 4 tires individually, what you want to mount. Which doesn't make sense for the 2 locations currently, but if there is a Monte Carlo at some point in the future, or if you it actually might make sense if you have a super sunny dry stage on tarmac which starts to go into very heavy rain. You could cross mount wet tires with slicks, I guess. So maybe it already makes sense, but that's just one of the examples. And the mechanical damage you see in the service park is also very, very detailed. You can repair single suspension parts and not just the suspension as a whole, as just one example. So there's a lot of attention to detail for that. There's also a lot of attention for event structure. You have not only driving to the marshals at the finish of the stage, but also driving to the marshal at the beginning of the stage, giving you a few meters of getting comfortable with the car and setting up, I don't know, the lights, the wipers, setting up the screen, like the camera settings first if you're in a new car, before you pull the handbrake at the start and get ready to hammer it. Yeah. Next good thing, the conditions, that they are dynamic and so varied. You can basically select any time of day with any kind of weather and set up a transition of the weather into any other kind of weather and put that into a time lapse, like real-time progression or even super accelerated time progression when you drive from night into day into night again. So there is a lot of flexibility to set up a lot of dynamic conditions, which does make the stages feel a little bit more varied than they are, but still it doesn't hide the fact that you're driving the same roads very, very quickly. But next good thing, the visuals. Unreal Engine has good visuals if things are standing still, and here mostly the visuals are also quite good when things are moving. It's maybe a connection to the point with Unreal Engine control, but yeah, the visuals are nice. It properly looks like a sim that was developed in our time and not 10 years ago. And last good thing, the stages feel alive. There is a lot of things that remind me of Dirt Rally 1, with spectators moving out of the way, standing on the road just before the car arrives, with tiny little things, with things you can actually hit and clip at the side of the road that behave in a believable way and not like a concrete block that stops your rally. So that whole implementation or creativity shows me that the team really has an understanding of the sport and wants to make it justice, wants to not present this as an off-road game but a proper rally simulator, which gives me hope, I would say. Let's summarize the points. It's not great, but it's not terrible. There are several problems, as you heard, in my opinion, but none of those are like fundamental problems. None of those are like, it's stuttering all over the place. The foundation seems to be on solid ground, and those problems seem to be fixable if the team is behind it and develops it in a quick fashion. Yeah, so problems, but not major problems. But way too little content. It is more like I would say it's more like a demo at this point. Like this is what you would put out as a demo of a full game to hook someone to buy the full game. It is nowhere near being a full game or a full experience, and I hope in the coming months, rather than years, we will see much more content to bring it up to a level where I could get back into it without repeating things. I say back into it because I know my channel has been mostly about rally and rally tutorials, but at this point I will not make any more content for Assetto Corsa Rally because I would get into hot lapping very quickly with those short stages with such little content, and I don't want that. I want to follow the development and see where things are heading and have it grow, to keep a watch on it, but not burn me out on the experience already. So yeah, don't expect any more content, maybe until the next content update or first major update of the game, but at this point it's just a demo, I would say. It is a good demo with some problems, but it is just a demo. Things can get good, and I hope they will be. It's not a bad first impression, but there needs to be more. Yeah. Okay, talked enough. Let me know what you think, and see you probably for Project Water Racing in a few weeks. Cheers!